Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming. So the AMD conference is over and we have some interesting news. AMD announced their 7nm graphics card, the Radeon VII, and it will be available next month. So they announced it and they have also given the price and the release date. Now the naming is quite interesting. It is 7 and it looks like initially people thought it would be Vega 2. It still looks like that with the Roman numerals. But it is Vega 7. 7 probably because of the 7nm. It's also 700. It still looks like a Vega 2, and it is a Vega 2 because the CEO said this is the second generation Vega card. And I have another theory. AMD could be doing with the Radeon what they did with the Ryzen. As you remember, they launched the Ryzen 7 first, and then they had mid-range cards, Ryzen 5 and Ryzen 3. Maybe they're doing the same thing here just to simplify the brand. Maybe a Radeon 7 high-end GPU. Then they might have a Radeon 5 and a 3. Who knows? Could be possible, and it would make sense in my opinion. You could have like a system with a Radeon 7 and a Ryzen 7 and call it a R77 or a double R7, something like that. So it would be an interesting naming scheme if they choose to do that. So to me, this looked like their second crack at Vega 64, because basically that's what it is. It is quite impressive on paper, I have to say. Now, people have been put off by the price from what I can see. Even during the live conference, I didn't see an excitement as we expected. I'm not too worried about the price because, to be fair, the insane amount of VRAM they're offering, 16 GB of HBM2, that is the main reason this is so expensive. Now, if they had, for example, kept it at 8 GB, this would have been probably about 550, 600, probably 500 even. And they were trying to basically be better than the 2080 in everything. The 7nm, 16 GB, memory bandwidth is insane. It's got FreeSync 2 technology. We don't have a lot of other details at the moment, but so far it looks like it's going to match the 2080 in most things, and perhaps in games that are optimized for AMD, stuff like the Division and Devil May Cry, the stuff they showed during the conference, it might be better, a lot better than the 2080, maybe closer to the 2080 Ti. So I think from a performance standpoint, this should be fine. It is a beast. Now, of course, we need benchmarks to be sure what we can expect. It looks like it's going to be a big power-hungry card. It's got two 8-pin connectors. We can see that. Triple fan design. I like the look of it. It's a sort of elegant, classy look to it. I did not like the blower style design of the reference cards, the previous cards, and that was one of the reasons why I did not try to get a Vega 56, because I was interested in that card. But this one, yeah, I'm overall very happy. Not necessarily a card I'm looking forward to. This is a 4K card because most of the performance they were talking about was at 4K at 60 FPS at the highest setting. So that is all great. If I was in the market for a 4K card, if I had a 4K monitor, I would consider this. Because if I'm in the market for a card around that price, 1080 Ti is sold out probably. We can't find it anywhere. It's also the last gen. Then we have the 2080 and this thing. And if it is between these two, then I'll definitely buy this, and simply because of the insane amount of RAM they're offering. And it's also much better in other content creation stuff. So you could stream, record, things like that. So overall, in my opinion, this is a better bet than the 2080, at least for now, until we see some benchmarks. So towards the end of the conference, she mentioned that there will be more 7nm products, both CPUs and GPUs, later in the year. So I would say around mid of the year, June or July, perhaps we should have something. And I think that would be the more budget focused stuff. With this one, I think they just wanted to get a 7nm card out at the start of the year. And what we are still not sure about is whether we still have the Navi coming up, or is that not a thing anymore? Because throughout the conference, she did not mention the word Navi even once. At least I tried to watch all of it and I don't recall hearing the word Navi at all. At least what this has done is made my decision a bit easier, because I was in the market for a new GPU, a mid-range GPU, and I had almost decided to get a 580 about end of November, early December. So I'll still get that. That's, I think, the best option, because I thought we would get some mid-range stuff. We did not. And the earliest I see anything mid-range coming out is probably mid of the year, June, July. By the time it comes to India and the prices stabilize, we could be looking at towards the end of the year maybe. So I don't plan on waiting another year, another 6-7 months. What I'll do is I'll probably wait till the end of the month, and I'll decide if I should get a 580 as I was originally planning. I'm also interested in the 570 because I could get a 570 as a temporary solution, let's say, for a year or so. And then when the 7nm cards are out, like Allah, we have more options in the 7nm, then I could pick one of those depending on which one is good from AMD, or even NVIDIA might have something next year. Or I could even consider something a little more expensive like the RTX 2060 I mentioned yesterday, or the Vega 56, because the Vega 56 I've seen it get a price drop on a few sites and it's quite affordable now. It's a lot cheaper. It was at a price where if it had been at that price a few months ago, I would have picked it up. So yeah, it's interesting. Let me know your thoughts as well. What do you think I should do? I could get a 570 and a 144Hz monitor within my budget. I could maybe squeeze in a 580 and a 144Hz monitor as well. And if I don't get that, I could probably get a RTX 2060, maybe a Vega 56, because the Vega 56 is a 1070 level card, slightly better than the 1070, and it's got fast memory like this, the HBM2. So it is a good card and decent for 1080p and high refresh rate gaming. So if I get the RTX 2060 or the 580, if I get the RTX 2060 and the Vega 56, then I'm good for a couple of years at least. Because normally with me, I look at changing my GPU around every 3 years or so. I would leave one generation and then go for the one after that. So basically, if I had a 960, I would skip the 10 series and go for the 20 series, which is basically what I'm doing. And similarly for the RX cards, because I have a R9 380, so 480 and 580, they're not technically two generations, it's only one generation. 580 is the refresh, so the Vega 56 makes more sense, or something like this. But I don't have the funds for this, and I don't have the need for this, because this is a 4K card and you need a 4K monitor, and this would perform the best in 4K games that require a lot of memory, a lot of fast memory, a lot of VRAM. So yeah, overall, let me know what your thoughts are. I'm actually happy that we have a 7nm high-end Radeon card. The price is high, but it's purely because of the HBM2. And if it wasn't for that, I'm sure if they had gone with 8GB, this would have been a lot cheaper. This would have been around 500, I think. It's made my decision a bit easier, and I'll probably go with the 580, probably. Let me know your thoughts as well. Thank you. See you in the next one.